As we preview Florida and Auburn, the thing that we got to talk about first, Taylor, is the injury to Walter Clayton Jr. He's their do everything guard. Didn't play the midweek game at Vandy, hurt that ankle late in Tennessee. Uh, Todd Golden said the ankle is not improving the way they want. Can't wait to see the availability report on game day. He's on it on Friday. Game time decision. He's a must for me. If Florida is going to upset Auburn, number one in the country at Neville, they've got to have Walter Clayton Jr. in some form on the floor.
I agree. And something that is interesting is I believe before their last game, I don't think that he was listed as out, which, they could be strategizing a little bit when it comes to that, but he wasn't a hard out. I think he was probably questionable.
He was.
So if that was a more important game, would he have played? That's kind of what is running through my mind. Did they want to rest him? He might not have been 100%. Do they want to rest him during that game where they wouldn't need him quite as much? Wait until they're going on the road to play Auburn? I don't know. But I agree. I think that their best chance of coming to Neville Arena and beating Auburn is having a healthy Walter Clayton Jr.
Yeah, and I will tell you and I want your thoughts on Florida and Auburn here as we get ready for this game at Neville, 3 o'clock on Saturday on ESPN. It's now going to be a full calendar year and a day since Auburn last lost in that building because it was February 7th of last year when they lost to Kentucky at Neville,
With
and they
game
haven't
day.
lost since. So we're playing this Saturday, and now we've gone 365 plus days without Auburn losing inside Neville Arena. It's a special place, and this is a big one on Saturday. What do you think of Florida and Auburn?
There's a very interesting, I guess you would call it a stat. Justin Hokanson tweeted it. Auburn and Florida are the only two teams with at least five players among Evan Maya. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but y'all know that basketball. He does everything basketball analytics. Um, Top 25 SEC individual player ratings. Auburn's top two and Florida's top two are both their frontline guys. So I think that's going to be a very interesting matchup. Rebounding is going to play a big role in this game. But when you look at moving away from that, when you start looking at numbers, just averages from these both these two teams throughout the season, they're so similar. Their points per game, their scoring margin, their field goal percentages, they're basically one after another. First, second, the biggest gap is in field goal percentage, where Auburn is ranked first in the SEC, Florida is ranked eighth, but everything else it's they're second, fourth, third, fourth, first, second. So they're very similar in terms of percentages. But one thing that did stand out to me about Florida is two of their three conference losses have come on the road. So that, I mean, how much of a role does that play? I don't know, but a home court advantage in college basketball is worth something.
It's huge, especially when you're talking about Auburn. The matchup of the game to me is Alex Condon, big guy Florida, Johni Broome, big guy Auburn. And we haven't seen a lot of people, we haven't seen anybody really that could take Johni off of his game, especially in that building. It'll be Alex Condon's job to try to do that this weekend.
I agree. I agree. And this is something that we talked about. If you haven't watched our episode, just topic episode where we talk about the National Player of the Year race, stock up, stock down. I mentioned this in there, but I think that something else that will be very important for Auburn is Denver Jones. His shot started to fall again after he went through a little shooting slump, but I think if he can hit some big shots, he hit a couple threes. He shot 100% from the floor versus Oklahoma. If he can, I mean, we don't expect that night in and night out. But if he can hit a couple shots, I think that will be very helpful, especially if Johni isn't quite as productive as he can be typically.
Florida is a team that on the road got beaten badly by Tennessee. Now they got to go to Auburn. It is a game that I had circled early in the year. Florida and Auburn, 3 p.m. Saturday on ESPN.